There's currently a trend going on TikTok right now where Pokemon fans will post an image showing all the starter Pokemon across all the generations, and then they'll go ahead and like circle the preferred starter for that specific generation, and then again they'll post it for everyone to see. And I've seen my fair share of them, and some of them are just crazy. Some of them are really just crazy. But I realized I can take it up a notch. I can make it a little bit more interesting. What I did instead is I created a whole bracket of every single starter Pokemon listed here to see which starter Pokemon is just definitively my most favorite across all generations. Okay, so first off, as you can see, since there is like an odd number or not a perfectly even number, there are 2 Pokemon that you do get a buy into the second round, but that will just be completely random. Okay, so there's a couple rules I'm going to preface before I get into it, but firstly, I am going to consider not just the first evolution of the starters, but the entire evolution line. I think it's a pretty important part as to just the starter Pokemon in general. Secondly, is I'm not gonna go into like the meta of the Pokemon or like their stats or if their moveset's really goated or if they're really good in their game. I'm not gonna care about that because I haven't played every single Pokemon game, but I have seen all the starters in the evolution line. So I'm gonna go more into like the design and like the vibe and just like the overall fluidity of the starter evolutions. And you'll kind of see what I mean as we get into it. And lastly, I'm just gonna put it out there, preface it. I do have a little bit bias towards water starters. I'm not gonna let it like get the better of me all the time, but if you wanna go ahead and call me Poseidon in the comments, you can go ahead and do that. Okay. So for each round, I'm going to go ahead and like show you the evolution and the Pokemons as well, just so we're on the same page here, and you'll just give my thoughts about it. And I'm going to go ahead and just close my eyes and shuffle, and then eventually I'm going to go ahead and confirm. And wherever the Pokemon end up is what the Pokemon end up. I'm going to confirm it. Okay, we're live. First matchup, Torchic versus Fennekin, so fire on fire. Torchic, pretty sure it's Generation 3. And I like Torchic. I think the first evolution is really cute. Love me a good little fire chicken Pokemon. Second evolution, Combuskin, kind of loses me a bit. I'm just not as big as a fan as I am with Torchic, but it does round out very nicely with Blaziken. I love Blaziken. I think it's such a really cool Pokemon. It's the first firefighting type we have in the Pokemon universe. So dope. I'm gonna compare it to Fennekin. I know Fennekin is like the Fire Fox Pokemon. I think his first evolution's fine. And then evolves into Braixen or Braxton, however you pronounce it. And I think it's like okay. And then you got Delphox at the very end. And again, I think Fennekin is a pretty overall good, solid fire starter lineup. I don't have anything against the Fennekin line. I think I like the Fennekin second evolution more than the Torchic second evolution. That's like a pretty easy, so I don't like Combuskin at all. But bro, I'm sorry, Blaziken for Torchic. Woo! Ooh, that's got some aura. That's got some serious aura. I'm gonna have to take Torchic over Fennekin. I'm sorry. If you're a Fennekin fan, I get it, but I don't hate Fennekin. Like some other starters I don't like, but Torchic is just, I love me some Torchic. So cute. Okay, second matchup, Squirtle versus Mudkip. We got a water on water matchup here. Obviously Squirtle, very solid lineup. Cute water turtle, evolving to a cooler water turtle, evolving to a dope water turtle with cannons on its back. Very solid evolution lineup, very fluid. I like it a lot. So like for Mudkip, I love Mudkip. I hate Marshtomp. I feel like a lot of the second evolutions for the starters in Pokemon tend to have kind of ugly designs for the most part. I think like on average they're not the greatest, or they're like the weakest link for most of these stars besides one, which we'll get to later when I see my goat. So for Marshtomp, I'm just not digging it. I think Mudkip's cute. Marshtomp falls off. Swampert's pretty dope though. I do like Swampert. Between these two, who am I picking? Oh, that's tough. That's actually tough. I also have the images pulled up. Okay, Swampert versus Blastoise. Which one do I think is cooler? I think I might like Swampert more than Blastoise. I think Mudkip is a little bit cooler than Squirtle, a little cuter. But Wartortle over, I'm just doing Squirtle. I'm sorry, but Wartortle dumpsters Marshtomp. I just don't like Marshtomp. I think it's really ugly. I think it's really just pretty poopy design. But that's definitely a close matchup. I can convince me either way. But I think the Squirtle line is a very good, solid A starter line. It's very hard to beat. It's very nicely evolutionized. I like the gimmick of it. Very cool. It's just a tough matchup. Sorry, Mudkip. If you're in a different bracket, maybe go look a little farther. Next up, Totodile versus Cyndaquil. Same generation too. And the Heart Gold is actually the first Pokemon game I ever played. And when I first ran it, I chose Totodile. And then I ran it again, I did choose Cyndaquil. So I had pretty good experience with both of these. Okay, so for Totodile, I'm gonna just get out of the way, okay? Like, I have a damn keychain for it, a little plushie keychain. So, you know, my little bias there. But I love Totodile. He's like a water alligator Pokemon. So cute. And he evolves into Croconaw, which, you know, Is it fine? Second evolution starter for the Pokemon, nothing crazy. And then evolves into Feraligatr, and I love Feraligatr. Again, when I have a little bit biased. Okay, I'm a little biased for water. I'm also a little biased because I do love Totodile a lot, and I remember playing Heart Gold Soul Silver. Feraligatr was just a menace, bro. That guy just was my goat. Cyndaquil, very cute first starter fire Pokemon. And the second evolution, Quilava, also very cool. Nothing crazy, Probably on the same level as Croconaw in my opinion. But then Typhlosion has got that aura too. I like Typhlosion. Although my problem with Typhlosion is pretty basic, from what I remember. Yeah, I think my problem with the Cyndaquil line overall is it is pretty basic and they didn't take a lot of risks in like the evolution line. Like you can say the same thing about like Totodile line, but I think Totodile line is like a little bit cooler. It's like the red like spikes going down its back, you know, kind of like a dinosaur-esque thing. But I think in my opinion, I'm gonna take Totodile. I'm gonna take Totodile, but Cyndaquil did put up a good fight. Not a sweep. It is not a sweep by any means. Scorbunny versus Chimchar. Another fire on fire matchup. So like, I think, I'm not the biggest fan of Scorbunny, but I think it's overall fine. I think Scorbunny first evolution, really solid. A fire rabbit, very cute, executes pretty well. But I really like the second evolution, Raboot. That's a pretty good evolution line in my opinion. Problem is, I'm not a big fan of Cinderace. Just not a big fan of Cinderace. I think he's fine. I think it's very neutral final evolution, but like, it's just nothing to go home about. Then we have Chimchar, and Chimchar is like a very cute fire monkey Pokemon, sure, but and then it evolves into Monferno, which I like the Monferno evolution line, and then goes into Infernape. And I'm not like the biggest Chimchar person. I like Infernape's fine. I think it's cool enough for sure. But I think Chimchar and Monferno are better than Infernape, in my opinion. I just don't put a lot of stock in Infernape. I know it's cool. I know when I was watching it when I was younger, like the Pokemon show, like Ash's and Infernape, like went God mode, Thanos mode, like could probably 1v9 Goku himself. Oh, but between this and Scorbunny, Scorbunny is really, let me see Cinderace again. This is kind of tough. This is honestly, I could go either way with this. Okay, we'll break it down. First evolution, do I like Scorbunny or Chimchar more? I think I like Scorbunny more. Second evolution, Monferno versus Raboot. I'm taking Raboot. Last evolution, you can convince me Infernape's probably better than Cinderace. Yeah, you can convince me of that, but I'm gonna give it to Scorbunny for the first two evolutions. Both of them are really close though, kind of the same gimmick. So we'll leave it at that. Oh, we got Rowlet versus Litten. So another generation on generation matchup here. Okay, so rocking out Rowlet as like a first starter, first evolution. I'm just not the biggest fan. Obviously like a grass owl and it's fine. Yeah, and then Rowlet devolves into like Dartrix, which I'm just not the biggest fan of either. Again, kind of suffers from the second evolution starter curse. But Decidueye is a cool Pokemon. I think if they can make Dartrix look like half as cool as Decidueye, then we got some motion here. But Rowlet's really being carried by Decidueye line. I'm sorry, Decidueye is a really cool Pokemon. Rowlet and Dartrix is just not given. And we'll compare that to Litten. Obviously, I'm a cat person, so I'm pretty cat biased as well. Litten's very cute Pokemon. And even the evolution of Litten, which is like Torracat, very cute as well. I like it. But the problem with Litten is the final evolution is Incineroar, and Pokemon likes to do this thing where if they have a Pokemon start on 4 legs, even for like the first and second evolution of it, they'll just put it on 2 legs at the final evolution just to make it more humanoid. And like, I like Litten, like it's a fire, like Incineroar's a fire dark, so that's pretty cool. But like, they made him like a wrestler, so is it really fire dark or firefighting? So like the evolution line at the very end kind of gets mixed up. But I mean, I'm going to take Litten here. Rowlet really, the first evolutions of Rowlet really suffer. Decidueye is really cool. I think I would take Decidueye over Incineroar any day of the week for evolution and like design-wise, but I think Litten's just too darn cute. All right, and next up, Snivy versus Pombon. Now, I didn't include the Generation 10 starter Pokemon, even though we don't know the full evolution line, because in the image, they do include the first evolution starters of Browt, Pombon, and then Gekka. I believe that's how you pronounce it. So I didn't include them here. So like, when you compare Snivy to Pombon, it's a little bit like weird to do because I know this entire Snivy line, and I really like the entire Snivy line, but I just don't know the entire Pombon line. But let's go over it. Snivy. Again, I'm a Gen 5 fan, and I love Snivy. I think Snivy is such an underrated grass lineup. I like Snivy, I like Servine, and I think Superior is a great payoff. It's like a very linear, very cool grass type evolution. And I love Snivy. I think Snivy got that aura. Pombon is just so darn cute. Like, there's a bunch of memes going around of the new starter, especially like Browt, which we'll get to, but Pombon as well. And he's just the most clueless looking dog, the cutest little thing ever. So in terms of like first evolution basis, I would probably pick Pombon. Oh, but I think I put up the Pombon or Snivy. who's taking it home. I can also think about the potential of Pombon. Yo, by the way, Nintendo, you got to keep the dog on 4 legs. Better not see no 2-leg evolution where it's standing on its 2 legs. Please, Nintendo, I can't do it anymore. Please. We're tired of it. I'm pretty sure Pombon's like the first dog starter too. And if you make the first dog starter end up on 2 legs, you're gonna have some problems. You're gonna have some problems. You're about to see me show up on a Pokemon headquarters. Oh, but the Snivy or Pombon, that's really hard. I feel bad for either one of these, because if they were in a different matchup, it'd be so much easier. I think I'm taking Snivy. Like, Pombon's really darn cute, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, but I do love Snivy. I do love Snivy. I like the name Snivy too. Just like perfect. Snake Ivy, Snivy. But you can convince me either or. Like if we're just doing purely on the first starters, like Pombon is really darn stinking cute. Actually, you know what? Even if we're doing that, I think I'll still say Snivy. But no disrespect to Pombon whatsoever. Generation 10 starters are great first evolutions. Those are great. I have high hopes. But in terms of this, I will choose Snivy here. A little bit Gen 5 bias showing, but I'm choosing Snivy. Okay, Bulbasaur versus Turtwig. Man, we got a lot of typing on typing matchups here. Dude, that's Bulbasaur versus Turtwig. Okay. Bulbasaur, Generation 1. Classic lineup. And I love Bulbasaur. I think out of the first 3 first starter evolutions, I'm picking Bulbasaur over Charmander and Squirtle. I love Ivysaur. I'm taking Ivysaur over Charmeleon and Wartortle. But my problem with the Bulbasaur line is that they made Venusaur so ugly. It's like they could have done something so much cooler, especially when you compare them with its own generation, like the Blastoise and Charizard. Not cutting it, bro. So keeping that in mind, going to Turtwig. I love Turtwig. Turtwig first evolution is fantastic. I love Turtwig, so cute. Grottle though is just a little bit ugly. Like I know it's a setup evolution. But man, is it ugly. But unlike Bulbasaur of Venusaur, which Final Evolution, which didn't really hit, for my opinion, like I just don't like it, Torterra is a masterpiece. Dude, Torterra has that aura. Like Venusaur wishes it got the payoff that Torterra did. And because of that, I'm taking Turtwig. I'm taking Turtwig over Bulbasaur. That's tough though. That is tough. I love my little grass frog with a leaf on its back, but dude, Torterra's got that aura. I remember like seeing that Pokemon, I'm like, dude, if I ever do play that game, which I haven't yet, getting to it. If I ever do play that game, I'm just gonna probably take Turtwig just for Torterra's sake. Oh my God, I love Torterra. I love the design of it. I like the whole environment on this back with the tree. I love it's like a huge like rock ground, like I think ground grass typing or rock grass typing. Pretty sure it's grass ground, but I like the whole like world turtle thing as well. No, I'm taking Turtwig, but dang, Bulbasaur, I'm so sorry. Oh, my poor Bulbasaur. Again, if he got put up against anything else, I think I would have probably taken it, but you hate to see the typing on typing matchup. It's rough. All right, next up we got Oshawatt versus Grookey, and this is not fair. So first off, Oshawatt Gen 5, and again, I'm gonna show my bias here. Okay, my favorite starter of all time, and it's not even close. Love Oshawatt. I think he's a cute C-Auto of a show as a weapon. Perfect, so cute. You know, I mentioned earlier, like I feel like second evolutions for most of these starters just miss the mark and are not that great. Like they're more like a setup for the third evolution. And I think that's pretty much true across the board, with the sole exception of Dewott, of course, because Oshawatt to Dewott is perfection. I'm gonna die on this hill. Dewott is probably the best second starter evolution we have ever seen. A Dewott is perfection. Dewott has that aura. Dewott is just such a perfect thing. Like you could tell, it's like definitely the samurai vibe of it as well. Oh, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss to whoever defined the Oshawatt to Dewott line. The only problem I have with the Oshawatt line is Samurott just doesn't hit the mark. Just doesn't hit the mark the same way as Oshawatt and Dewott did. But because I love Oshawatt and Dewott so much, it has a lot of weight, even though Samurott's fine. Samurott's cool. It doesn't have the great payoff, but Oshawatt to Dewott is just perfection. And compare that to Grookey, which Grookey has a rough time. Grookey, the first evolution's fine. Like, I think Grookey's cute. But like, bro, Grookey to Thwackey to Rillaboom, like, you're not... I'm sorry. The giant grass ape with the drums is just not laying a finger on Oshawatt. Get out of here, Grookey. I'm sorry. Next up, we got Poplio versus Sable, and it's the same thing. Typing on typing matchup. Poplio, cool little water seal Pokemon. I clown with it. I think it's really cute. Brianni, I'm not the biggest fan of, to be honest, but it has a good payoff. It's either Primarina or Primarina. That's a really good final evolution, like for like a water seal. Very elegant. very pretty in my opinion. I mess with it. I do like the popular line for sure. And I mean, to be honest, it has an easy time because it's fighting against Sable. I do like Sable, the first evolution, but the second evolution of Sable, which is Drizzle, is they just made it the emo, like water or whatever it is, bro. They made it Drizzle. It's just an emo thing. And then they made Inteleon. And it's just get me out of here. I'm not talking about Sable, bro. I just think it just not as cool as Popplio regardless. I think Popplio has a great final evolution payoff. Inteleon is just so lame in my opinion. It's just so lame. All right, next matchup, Sprigatito versus Quaxly. Now, it's another generation on generation matchup here. Now, I played this game a little bit, but I did choose Sprigatito because I do like the green cat. Again, I'm a cat person, and I just love the green cat. I think it's very cute. I would want to have it in real life. If Pokemon existed, I would take Sprigatito. And then, you know, Pokemon did the thing where Sprigatito in second evolutions with Florigato. It put him on 2 legs. And then you have Meowscarada, which, you know, it's a fine evolution line. Like, would I prefer for it to be on all 4 legs? Yes. But I love Sprigatito. It's really cute. I don't really care about the other 2. Like, it's fine. I think the other 2 are fine. Versus Quaxly, which has the same exact thing, where Quaxly, the first evolution, is so darn cute. Like the water duck with the hairdo, bro. They cooked with this. And then they burned the entire kitchen, because what do you mean it evolves into that? Like Quaxly to Quaxwell, biggest fall off in history. And then you got Quackavall. Bro, Sprigatito, dude. Like both of them are probably equivalent first evolution like bases. Like they're both really darn cute. But at least like Florigato and Meowscarada holds up way better in my opinion than Quaxwell or Quackavall. Like it's not even close in my opinion. It's disturbing. Anyways, I'm taking Sprigatito here. Okay, next up, Gekka versus Chikorita, which is very interesting. I do like Gekka, and I am still very curious to see what the final evolution, the second and third evolution of the Pokemon is. But for first impressions, very cute. Water Salamander. Now to compare this to Chikorita, and I think this is pretty unanimous across the Pokemon community. People do not like Chikorita, and I think it's because its first evolution is ugly. It is a thumb with a leaf on its head. You're not getting far with that, man. Even though I will say, I think Bayleaf is a great second evolution for it. It's way cooler. And then I think Meganium is great. I think the set 2 and 3 is great, but I'm so sorry. I just do not like Chikorita. I'm never picking Chikorita ever. I think it's ugly. I'm taking Gekka. Even though I think Gekka's second and third evolution will probably be good enough to beat out Chikorita anyways, because Chikorita first evolution is such a tank, bro. It's atrocious. Anyways, that's my humble opinion. If you like Chikorita as your favorite Pokemon, I'm sorry. I don't get it, but more power to you. I know every Pokemon is someone's favorite. And next up, we got Charmander versus Chespin. As you guys know, I am not a big Charizard fan. I think he's cool, but I think he's definitely overhyped. I think the same thing goes for its line as well. Like, Charmander's a very chill, very solid fire Pokemon. Charmeleon is like, okay, it's definitely a second evolution setup, but progressive. And then Charizard, good payoff. Fire dragon that flies with the fire on its tail getting bigger. Like you're not, it's a great story. And then you want to compare that to Chespin, where I like the first evolution of Chespin a good amount. I think it's cute, but bro, like Quilladin, bro, dude, who greenlit this? That is ugly. That is an ugly second evolution. And Chestnut does not redeem it enough. I'm just checking Charmander here. I don't think that's that hard of a decision, honestly. I think you're absolutely ludicrous to take Chespin over Charmander any day of the week. I think that's pretty easy. Trico versus Piplup. Ooh, okay. That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good matchup. So Trico, I'm not the biggest fan of this first evolution, but I think it's pretty solid. Nothing crazy. And it goes to the Grovyle, which I think is a pretty good second evolution, because I think it sets up Sceptile pretty well. Like, I think the Trico evolution is really good. Trico to Grovyle to Sceptile, very solid evolution. I see where it's going. I think it's pretty good. I like the second evolution of it a lot. I think it's probably one of the better second evolutions out there. I'm just not that big on it in general. But it's a solid evolution line for sure. Solid starter. But the issue with Trico right now is going to Piplup. Now, I love Piplup. Like, and you got a water penguin, bro. As cute as that. Oh my lord. Of course I'm choosing Piplup. Problem with the Piplup evolution line is the second evolution is Prinplup, and I think it's pretty ugly. It's definitely like a setup. But thank God Piplup's setup for Empoleon is a masterpiece. I love Empoleon. I think that Pokemon is so cool. It's so dope. Has immense aura. I would love, if again, Pokemon existed in real life, I would love to get an Empoleon. Are you kidding me? Dude, it's so cool. I love me some Empoleon, man. So I'm gonna give it a Piplup here. Trico, you did fine. I would take Grovyle over Prinplup any day of the week, but I think Piplup line overall as a whole is really solid. And lastly, for the last round 1 matchup, we have Tepig versus Froakie. Now, as a Gen 5 fan, I ran Tepig, but the only reason I ran Tepig, not because I liked it or anything, is because it's really good in the game. But in terms of the actual, we're not talking about the game, we're talking about the design. I think Tepig's really cute fire Pokemon. I mess with it. But oh boy, bro, Pignite. Pignite is not doing it. And then Emboar, I think, you know, from going from Tepig to Pignite, Emboar is probably as good as you could do with it, but I'm just not impressed with Emboar either. Yeah, not really. And yeah, it's competing against Froakie. Which I think Froakie and then what's the second evolution? Oh, Frogadier. Like both of those are fine. Like Froakie's cute enough. Frogadier is like, yeah, a progression of it. What Froakie has, which is an 8 up its sleeve, is Greninja. And I think Greninja is a very cool Pokemon. It's a great 3rd starter evolution Pokemon. It's a fan favorite, by the way. Like the Pokemon's in Smash, it did something right, you know? And it has all the cool artworks about it as well. It has a lot of hype. Ash Greninja, of course, in the show. Great aura. And I do like the design of it a lot. I like that the tongue is like its scarf and it's also a weapon. It's just really cool. And Water Shurikens, like hello, Water Shurikens, you had me there. Greninja, great. So I'm putting it there. Okay, moving on to the second round. And I think second round, things are gonna get hit up a good amount. First matchup, Browt versus Torchic. Browt, Generation 10, we don't know its evolution line for it. And honestly, I feel like they could definitely mess up the Browt evolution line. Like, Brout's a great first starter. And you know, when it first released, I was not too big in a Browt. I didn't have like an investment in Browt stock. But through the memes and eventual just acceptance of how good Browt is, I do love Browt. Green little angry bird, so cute. The memes are impeccable. Good job, Pokemon community. You cooked with that. So I think it's really good. But you're gonna compare that against the fire bird Pokemon as well. That's really tough. That's really tough because I mean, I just know Torchic has Blaziken in his pocket, right? I have no idea what Browt has. So, but I do love I think I would take Browt over Torchic as like a first evolution design by a smidge. But just because Torchic has Blaziken, I'm taking Torchic. But who knows? I might do this again if we have the final evolutions for Browt, Pombon, and then Gekka as well, just to see. But as of right now, I'm pretty confident that Brout's final evolution is not going to beat out Blaziken. That's a tough ask, my guy. That's a tough ask. So I'm taking Torchic right now. Next up, ooh, doozy. Squirtle versus Totodile. Water on water matchup. If we're going to do it like lineup by lineup. So first evolution, I am taking Totodile. I do like Totodile a lot more than Squirtle. Second evolution, you can probably convince me. Yeah, I think Wartortle probably is cooler than Croconaw for sure. I do like Croconaw though, so it's not by a huge margin, but it is, you know, a margin. And then between Blastoise and Feraligatr, that's kind of tough. That's kind of tough. Because both of them progress pretty nicely, in my opinion. I think Blastoise has probably a little bit of a cooler payoff because it does have a gimmick of like the water cannon on the shell versus Totodile, Croconaw, Feraligatr just having like the red spikes and being like a little bit more, you know, alligator-esque. But I'm just gonna take Totodile here because I just like Totodile a lot more than Squirtle. And I might be crazy. You guys can probably debate me in the comments of that, but I'm not a huge Gen 1 person. I do like Totodile. Again, my first game was Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and I have a bias. I have a bias for Totodile. So what are you gonna do, really? But it's hard. Again, I understand if you would choose Squirtle over Totodile here. It totally makes sense in my eyes. No hate. Okay, fire on fire. We got Scorbunny versus Litten. Again, so for Scorbunny, I like Scorbunny, Light Reboot. Cinderace is not my favorite. But then you get like Litten, Torracat, and Incineroar. That's actually really just tough. That's tough. First evolution, like Scorbunny is really cute, but I'm a cat person and I'm taking Litten. Second evolution, I like them both, but I probably would give it to Reboot. But if we're gonna go for the third evolutions, which I'm not a huge fan of either of them, to be honest, Cinderace versus Incineroar is like mid versus mid. But I'm probably gonna just go with Litten here. Yeah, I'll choose Litten. I'm gonna choose Litten. Sorry, cat. The cat buff is incredible. Oh my god. Okay, grass versus grass. Snivy versus Turtwig. Oof. Oh my god. Snivy versus Turtwig. That's actually tough. That's tough. First evolutions for both. I like them both a lot. I might even say that's a tie. I'm gonna say that's a tie. Second evolution, I do like Servine a lot more than Groddle. Oh, but the problem is final evolution, Superior versus Torterra. Let me see Superior again. It's been a while. I'm gonna like, dude, the thing about Snivy is it just gives off that elegant, rich vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a smug like grass snake Pokemon, and it knows it, and it knows it. Superior is just like royalty, and I respect that a lot. I think it's a really cool design gimmick to do. But Turtwig and Torterra is just a beast and a behemoth, bro. Torterra is just a monster. Like, that's a Pokemon, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to choose Snivy, I really do, but I think I am doing that just for my Gen 5 bias. So I think I'm going to ignore that and just push for Turtwig here. That hurts me, though. I do love Snivy a lot. No, I can't. I can't get conscious do that. I love Torterra. Torterra, Snivy, but Snivy line's so good. But the Snivy line's so good. It hurts me to do either one. Oh my god, I'm sorry, Snivy and Turtwig. You have to be mashed up together in the second round. Really? That's so brutal. Oh no, you guys deserve to be way farther than this. I'm taking Snivy. I'm taking Snivy. I'm taking Snivy. I can't. I don't think it's even Gen 5. Oh my god, but it actually pains me. I'm sorry, Turtwig. But either one, I'm gonna hate myself for. I have to go past. I'm choosing Snivy. I'm choosing Snivy. Am I choosing Snivy? Okay, moving on. I'm sorry, Turtwig. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Itachi, that's brutal. That's like a 1-point game. It's like a 1-point game. Buzzer beater. Snivy hit the shot. What can you do? What can you do? Fuecoco, which got the bypass versus Oshawatt. Like, Fuecoco's cute and all, but then it goes to Crocolore, and brother, you can miss me with that hat bullshit. That is just goofy as hell. And then Skeledirge is fine, but it's not. Every evolution of it just loses to Oshawatt's evolution. Even like Samurai versus Skeledirge. It's just, yeah, I'm sorry, Fuecoco. You're lucky your ass got the buy around, by the way. Okay, Popplio versus Sprigatito. Interesting matchup. Because now the problem is for Popplio, I think at first evolutions for both, I would take Sprigatito, but Popplio is still a good first evolution. Second evolution, like Florigato, I guess is better slightly than that. But like third evolution, Primarina does blow out Meowscarada out of the water, but Sprigatito has the cat buff. I can't in good conscience choose Sprigatito. I'm sorry, the 2 legs is just like whatever, and the final evolution is like whatever, but Primarina is actually a good at final evolution. I'm taking Popplio. I'll take that. I can live with myself with that. Okay, next up we got Gekka versus Charmander. And I'm gonna get hate in the comments for this, bro. I'm taking Gekka. I think I like Gekka as a first evolution a lot more than Charmander because there's actual detail in it. I think, guys, I'm dying on this hill, actually. Charmander is a fine evolution line, but it is very basic. It is just a red salamander with a fire on its tail. That is its gimmick. It only becomes cool after it becomes Charizard, objectively. Gekka already has that like kind of interesting design to it, like a water salamander with like the teardrops in his eyes, has a little tail, very cute. Already blows out Charmander out of the water. Yeah, I'm dying on this, so I'm taking Gekka. I think that Gekka, other evolutions of it can probably beat out Charizard in my head. Like I'm not that. Charizard's cool, but it's not that high a stock in my head. I'm choosing Gekka. You can hate me all you want. Next up, Piplup versus Froakie. I'm leaning towards Piplup. Like Piplup is better than Froakie in my opinion. Like second evolution, like between Primplup and then Frogadier, I can give it to Frogadier, that's fine. But final evolution, like Greninja versus Empoleon, that is a tough one. That is very tough. I love them both. I am just a little bit biased towards Empoleon. I'm sorry. I think Empoleon is such a cool design. And I mean, obviously Greninja is also such a cool design. But if we're going to just have like based on the evolutions and everything, I think I just love Piplup a little bit more than Froakie. I'm sorry. Greninja, your run ends there. You can only carry so much weight. But I'm taking Piplup there. Hit me all you want. Okay, round 3. Yeah, it's going to get real. Oh my god. Torchic versus Totodile. Oh my god. Lord help us. Oh my god. Somebody help me. Oh no, I don't know if Totodile's making out. Hold up, can Totodile make it out of here? First evolution, I'm choosing Totodile. Second evolution, I will take Croconaw. But can Frealigatr stand on its own 2 legs against Blaziken? Now that's a tall ask. I have to do Torchic, bro. I think the evolution is really good. The payoff is great. I love Totodile so much, but I'm not a fan of the Totodile lines, much as I'm a fan of Totodile, the Pokemon. I will give it to Torchic, man. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Totodile. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to give it a Torchic here. That's rough. You had a good run, Totodile. You had a great run. You had a great run. There's just some really good starter Pokemon here. What can you do about it? You're definitely the best one in your generation by far. Okay, next up, Litten versus Snivy. Oh my, okay. I'm gonna choose Snivy because I think the Snivy line, every single evolution of Snivy is fantastic. Litten, first evolution is great. I'll take over Snivy. Second evolution, it's fine. Still a cat. Third evolution is Cineroar. Snivy all the way. Snivy all the way. Okay, Snivy for the win. Next up, Oshawatt versus Popplio. I'm sorry, Popplio. You had a good run too. I don't think you make it this far, but I'm taking Oshawatt. Again, I would take Oshawatt over Popplio straight up. Deoat versus Brownie all the way. And then like Primarina versus Samurott. You could convince me that Primarina is probably a better overall evolution at the end, but I still like Samurott a good amount. But Deoat carries, hard carries. Oshawatt and Deoat are like 90% of like why I like the line so much. Samurott like the 10%. So it's tough, Popplio. You had a good run, but I mean, it's Oshawatt. What can you do? Next up, Gekka versus Piplup. I'm choosing Piplup. I think Gekka line could be cool, but will it be as cool as Empoleon? That's tough. Piplup, I think I'll take Piplup over Gekka to begin with, but to be as cool as Empoleon at the end, I don't know about that. Oh my god. I just realized the final four. Oh my lord. Semifinals. Here we go. Torchic versus Snivy. Oh my god. Okay, first evolution. I think I'm choosing... I think that might be a tie. They're both so good. They're both so good for starters. Second evolution, I am choosing Servine over Combusken pretty easily. But for final evolution, Blaziken versus Superior. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a hard... I mean, let's see some images. That is a really hard one. Oh my god. Oh my... It's the same thing, bro. Oh my god. It's like Snivy versus Turtwig. Dude, Snivy has had a run, by the way. Snivy has had a slaughterhouse run. Oh, it had to be fought against Torchic. I have to think about this. Oh my god. I've been staring at this for like a couple minutes. I have no idea. Ah! I don't know. Is that gonna happen? Is that what's 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 gonna happen? Oh my god. Does this look better? Does this look better? Just torch it. Oh my god. No, both of these Pokemon have had a really hard run. I think Snivy is way worse. But oh my god. Dude. I think I have to go Snivy. I think it's tough. I think I like Snivy more. I think if Combusken was just a bit better, like I'm talking like 5 to 10% better, I would take Torchic line. I would take Torchic over Snivy, but it's just not. Blaziken's cool and all, but the Snivy line I think is just better. Okay, I'm going Snivy. Snivy made it to the final round. Dude, Snivy had a fucking murder spree. Every one of these matchups were tough. Jesus. And then, oh my god, we have Oshawatt versus Piplup. This really comes down to, by the way, Deoat versus Empoleon. That's what it comes down to. Is just Deoat. Like, bro, I think Deoat and Empoleon kind of have the same kind of vibe going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, very similar. Okay, first evolution, Oshawatt versus Piplup. Dude, Piplup is very darn stinking cute. Do not get me wrong. Do not get me wrong, but I'm taking Oshawatt. It's just cute off the shell. Second evolution, just might save Oshawatt. Deoat dumpsters Piplup, and it's not even remotely close. Empoleon does gut Samurott. It just does. Taking Oshawatt. Taking Oshawatt. I'm standing on my boy. I'm standing with my boy. That is tough. That is tough. That is just objectively very hard. That's a very hard thing to choose between. And if Piplup was in this category, I would take Piplup over Snivy. I would. It just got so unlucky. Oh, I'm so sorry, Piplup. You could have been at the final. I think you should have been at the final. And there's a different bracket. If you ended up in the top bracket here, you would have ended up in the finals. But that's just how the game's played. And then we got Snivy versus Oshawatt. And I think the answer is pretty clear. I'm taking Oshawatt here. That's so tough. Well, there you have it. Snivy had a miracle run. If Oshawatt didn't exist, it would have probably won the entire... Actually, no. If Oshawatt didn't exist, then Piplup would win. If Piplup and Oshawatt didn't win, then Snivy would win. I just had to choose Oshawatt there. Oshawatt, I think, over Snivy. Deoat over Servine. Superior can probably beat it over Samurott, but again, Samurai is like 10% Oshawatt D-Watt combo, the 1-2. Lethal. Lethal. I love it so much. So yeah, I'm choosing Oshawatt here. All right, GG's, guys. GG's, guys. Okay, out of these 4, I would probably do Oshawatt, Piplup, Snivy, Torchic. So Piplup, if you ended up in this bracket, would have made 2nd place instead of Snivy. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And, you know, I already knew going into this, Oshawatt was my favorite, but it made me think. Like, I had to think about, like, some of the other ones, like, that I'm not really thinking about much, like Snivy. Like, I know I like Snivy. How much I like Snivy? No idea. Like, I know I like Torchic. How much I like Torchic? No idea. Like, I know I like Totodile, by the way. I have a plushie of him. But I just realized in the moment that Torchic, I would take Torchic over Totodile. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Had a blast doing this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. And I'm sure y'all disagree. And I implore you guys to do like your own version of this. I think it's really fun. Actually, you know what? Can I share this? Oh, okay. Hey, if you want to do your own version of this right here, go for it. Let me know what you guys get, what your number 1 and 2 is. Like if you have any hard decisions on your own as well. But again, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys had a great day. And yeah, please like and subscribe.